So, do I think most people are inherently evil? So, I look up inherently, and it's basically like it basically means permanent. But no, I looked up inherently evil, and it says very wicked by nature and takes pleasure in doing things that harms other people. Now, this is what I will say. I don't think that everybody, well, not everybody, you said most. So, I don't think that most people are inherently evil. I think what happens is we have a society that at the top is ran by mainly psychopaths and sociopaths, narcissists, and just toxic people in general. John Lennon talked about it. John Lennon talked about that in one of his interviews. Um, and I don't think that most people are inherently evil. I think most people are um, toxic because society is toxic and ran by these toxic individuals, which ties into childhood trauma, which ties into um, other things that cause trauma. Because we always talk about childhood trauma, but other things may cause you trauma. Something in your neighborhood, something in school. We're all built differently. Like I say, I'm different, you different, we different. We're all built differently. So some people might be super empathetic. Some people might be actual empaths. Some people might be more sensitive. Some people might be a highly sensitive person. Society is built to create a structure to make money, and society is built for a bunch of generic human beings to fall in line, which nobody's generic. Everybody's so different. It would take so much work for them to create society to be so complex to help each individual based off of their way of being or their personality. So, do I think most people are inherently evil? I don't. I think most people are um toxic because society forces people to either fall in line with something that will make them super depressed, because when you're not being your authentic self, you're depressed. So society forces people to, one, be depressed. That's why so many people suffer from depression. It forces people to act in evil ways because they no longer want to fall in line. And a lot of people can fall in line. A lot of people will work the 9 to 5. A lot of people will not commit a crime. A lot of people will fall in line to whatever society says the moral way of being is. But to be honest, I feel like I'm not going to say that they purposely create chaos, which I think some of them, I think majority of them do, on my personal opinion. But I'm gonna try to be a little bit more optimistic about it. I think that the system that has been created within society causes um dysfunction and causes childhood trauma and causes personality disorders and causes more narcissism and causes people to act out in ways that come off very inherently evil. So people I don't think that people are just evil just because. I think that the way the world is set up, that is what it has become. Now, do I think that most people are? After I broke that down, do I think that most people are? I think that, mm, hmm, I think this is a hard one. I think that most people are conditioned so deep that they may never change from acting in a very quote unquote toxic or evil way. But I don't think they're inherently evil. This is a very, it's hard to answer this question because there's so many layers to it. You have people who are evil inside, but they keep up a facade. And then you have people who just are openly evil, which are a very small percentage. And then you have other people who pick and choose when they want to be evil to basically be helpful to the master, to the other toxic people out here, to fall to be cool or whatever. And then you have other people who want to thrive in life, but they're great people, they're good people, but they know that in certain instances they gonna have to do what they gotta do. So we say in society, right? Do what you gotta do. They do some evil stuff, and then you have people who don't want to play that game, and they stay to themselves, and whatever opportunities they get by being a solid individual, they will do that, but they won't play the evil game. But they miss out on a lot of opportunities because they don't want to, you know what I'm saying, be inherently evil. So it's so many layers to it. I don't think it's black and white to say that most people are inherently evil. But I will say this, I think that most people choose to take the path of having toxic traits or narcissistic traits or evil traits because it's easier to fit in, and people rather fit in with society than try to grow and become better individuals. It's just like people have kids, and then they'll be the same people to sitting around talking about how people not raising their kids right and blah 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 X, Y, and Z, and but they're one of the problems that they're talking about. They're one of the terrible parents. People want to talk about terrible parents, but they're not willing to look at themselves and realize what they have done as wrong as parents. And I just use that as an example. I know it's hard to raise kids. I don't have kids and I don't want kids, you feel me? But that's just an example I'm using. That could apply to anything. That could be applied to people talking about people being overweight and somebody's overweight. Oh, these people always getting blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like most people don't want to look at themselves, so they spread out toxicity to the world. And I don't think they're inherently evil. I think it's just easier to fit in. So yeah, I just went on a 6-minute rant, but yeah, I think that's my perspective on that question.